What do you say to the men who prioritize themselves completely over their family?
There is a lot of men like that who prioritize themselves completely over their family. And those are men that, one, you should not have married. Two, you should not have had kids with because they are not really men. Mm-hmm. They're boys. They're boys, and they'll probably treat you as though you're mommy, just come to you when they need something from you, either love or permission or something. But otherwise, that is the problem with this new generation out there, this new generation. And I'm not, shitting on you particularly, because I know your work ethic. I know what your mom instilled in you. I know what your dad instilled in you. But there's a whole generation out there that they just feel like, as men, that they feel like they don't have to be the providers. They don't have to pay the attention. They don't have to be the protectors. And they've become these little boys who would rather get attention on social media than provide for their family, give the family attention, create financial security. And they're massively selfish because they were raised by parents who coddled them, bubble wrapped them, told them everything's going to be okay. You're not a quitter. It's okay for you to stop playing the sport and not doing that thing. And that's the unfortunate thing about them. And this is why people should start sniffing out in the dating process. Is this guy all about being a gentleman, a servant, a savage, a go-getter? Or is he a mama's boy who is selfishly all about himself? And if I was a woman, I would not want anything to do with a guy like that. Hey guys, quick interruption to the show. Let me tell you all about the Truly Wellness Shot. If you're like me and you care about your health, hydration, and building a strong immune system so you can stay active and you can get after it in life, then you want to try the Truly Wellness Shot. I used to take 11 different supplements in the morning, things like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, echinacea, ginger, and a whole bunch more. Now it's all included in the Truly Wellness Shot. I want to send you a 30-day supply for 50% off. Just go to Truline.com, use the code word BEDROAST, my name, to get 50% off. You'll also get free shipping. You get a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee, and $1 of every order goes to Shriners Children's Hospital. And when you use the code word BEDROAST and do the subscribe and save, which is a Truline Tribe program, every month you'll get a fresh supply of Truly Wellness Shots for an additional 20% off and free shipping, and $1 of every monthly order will go to Shriners Children's Hospital. So go to Truline.com, use code word BEDROAST, and take advantage of this amazing offer. Now back to the show.
So this might be, I honestly don't even know if I'm using this word right, but this might be like an oxymoron, but it's like, what if we take it a different direction where he's selfish in the way where it's all about personal development? So not even in the way where it's like, okay, he's all about himself and he's selfish where, he's just lazy, he's a bum, whatever. What if he's not that way, but he's selfish in the way where all he cares about is personal development? Like, do you think that's still just as bad? Do you think that's more wiggle room because maybe he can lift them up? Like, what do you say as far as maybe she's talking about that kind of guy?
Let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's all about personal development, or he's all about work. His work is so meaningful to him that he just spends day and night on his work and getting more customers and building the brand and expanding it worldwide and creating more income streams and adding more SKUs. And you're like, that's a fucking honorable man. He works. Isn't it neglect, whether it's personal development or he's a multimillionaire and has financial security for his family? But isn't it neglect if he's not giving emotional security, love, support, connection to his wife and to his kids? If he's not there counseling and leading his family? Like, the very first organization that any man should lead is his family. Right. And then your business. And so, hey man, if you're selfishly all about, I hear this from a lot of women, like, man, my dude's like, he got into jujitsu and now he's just like jujitsu all the time. He's just a jujitsu on the weekends.
It's your fault, B.
Yeah, jujitsu camps and yeah, right. And so, well, okay, that's cool, but don't neglect date night for jujitsu. Don't neglect hanging out with your kids for jujitsu. Like, anything to an extreme ends up neglecting somebody. And if you're a man and you've committed to having kids, even personal development. But what if you're like, hey, well, I'm going to become the best version of myself that I can be so I can start making more money and then teaching this to my kids and to my wife and to Uncle Bob and my aunts and my cousin. Well, great. Learn, but bring them into the fold, right? Like, there's a responsibility that we have as men, and we can't say, yeah, but I provide for you. Isn't that enough? No, it's not. There has to be some kind of emotional connection and security and love and core values and experiences we need to have together. Otherwise, Like, what's the point of making money or being personally developed if it's just selfishly for yourself and your personal status and accomplishments, but your family feels neglected?
Right. I want to get your personal take on this because you, number one, have experienced it and you talk a lot about it on your show and on stage and things like that. What was your moment where because you basically have told the story where you felt like you were that person at one point, because you can't grow a multi-million-dollar business without, caring for it and nurturing it and putting your time into there. But then you also talk about how you wish you could have spent more time with the family if you could, but it's like, I'm focused on this and I got to do it. So what was your moment where you realized that and that you said, okay, cool, maybe I can take my foot off the gas a little bit and maybe I need to shift gears a little bit just because maybe someone's watching where they're in that situation, they don't even realize it.
So here's what I can tell you. I could have been more available to my family earlier on in my entrepreneurial career had I understood that when I make a little bit of money, I need to use that money not to go buy fancy watches, a nice car. Like I wrote about how I had to sell my sports car, the GTR, like basically have a fire sale because I bought it when I was just barely making enough money, right, as a second car for myself. I already had a primary vehicle. I had a Yukon Denali. I was like, oh, I want that GTR. And so I buy a $100,000 vehicle, and then 6 months later, payroll and quarterly taxes came during the same month, and I couldn't afford it. Well, I should have used the money for that car, not to go buy myself something, a reward, right? But I should have used that money to hire more team members, to put more stuff from my plate to their plate, to win back my time, because that's what money is for. You buy back your time by hiring team members so that you can focus a little bit more on your work, a little bit more on your family, a little bit more on your personal health and fitness and sanity, right? That's why my fitness suffered back then. My relationship suffered back then. Everything suffered because the money that I was making, I was, let's just call it what it is, undisciplined. And I was buying shit that helped me feel higher status instead of building the foundation of my business and winning back more of my time. And so I kept grinding it out and using what time I had, stealing time from my family and time for my fitness, time for my mental health, and going all in on the business. And so I could have been where I am today a lot sooner had I delegated and outsourced more. When did I come to that conclusion? Sadly for me, 12 or 13 years ago, at the age of 37, so 13 years ago, when I had that massive panic attack that I thought was a heart attack. And I wrote about that in my book, Man Up. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I was like, shit, man, this is how I die at the age of 37, right? When in reality, it wasn't a heart attack. It was my first of what was going to be many panic attacks because I was just so overwhelmed, stretched thin, wasn't sleeping, had, custom suits and a nice GTR and some nice watches, but all those things I should have used to create better systems and bring on more people in terms of employees into my company to win back my time to be able to spend with my family, spend on my fitness, and spend on my mental health.